Hello guys and welcome to another YouTube educational short. So today I'm going to be coming on and talking about becoming the master of every phase you're within. Now, what do I mean by this? So it's easy, let's put it in terms of practice. So when you train, everybody knows how to train. They have to train progressive overload, they have to train with full range of motion. That's all pretty self-explanatory. Most people can train to the best of their ability. They diet to the best of their ability. People know what they should and shouldn't be eating. However, there's many different components and parts of training and progression other than training and nutrition. You've got rest, you've got recovery. You've also got internal and external kind of factors that can limit our training or hinder our training as well. So, Brad, what do you mean by that? I have no idea. Isn't it not as simple as just training and growing and eating? No, sadly it's not. Like, no one has this continuous linear line of progress. If you've been in this game long enough, maybe not even long enough, you will find that it's a twisting, turning road of all sorts. Like, it's not as simple as just A to B. There'll be many different factors that will throw up that you have to kind of adapt to and conquer. Now, a perfect example, and the one that also inspired this video, is an injury. So a client or yourself becomes injured and you can no longer train as a total or train a specific body part. What do you do? Now, this is where I kind of honed the saying, becoming the master of all phases. Now, you've nailed training, you've nailed nutrition, but shit, what do you do when you're injured? What do you do when you have to rest? What do you do when you can't train? Like, why does everything fall apart there? And this is something that I've seen countless amounts of times. And instead of that analytical kind of focused robotic sort of mindset that we've had to training in the past or nutrition in the past becomes lost, and we freak out and we lose track of absolutely everything. Because those variables have been taken away, which is training, we almost forget how to master this other aspect of our progress. And this is the thing, like, you are gonna get injured. Hopefully not, but it is part and parcel of it. You know, there will come times where you have to take a break away from training, whether that be from an injury, whether it be from a gym closure, whether it be from you're on holiday and you don't have a gym. There's many different factors why you can't have a gym. So the question is, every time this scenario comes away, are you gonna lose control and binge and feel sorry for yourself and almost become like self-sabotaged? Or do you become the master of that phase? Because you can't progressively train all the time. You have to deload. So how do you focus on a deload? Do you sit there twiddling your thumbs every day until the gyms reopen, or are you maximizing your time and you utilizing that time in a positive manner? So, Brad, how can I become the master? Right, there's many different ways, and obviously it's very person dependent. It's very down to the individual and how they like to run their day. But you know how you want to train. It's the same as diet. You know how to diet. Not everybody's going to eat the same food. Everybody has taste. Everybody has their own favorite flavors and favorite foods that they're going to have. You can't just say, right, there's chicken, rice, and broccoli, because say 60% of the population will like that. The other 40 will like, that's fucking boring, I don't want that. So how do you manage it? So the best way I approach this is, what am I actually supposed to do when I'm resting? It sounds like a trick question, it really isn't. I'm supposed to rest. I'm supposed to switch off, unwind, relax, not do the training thing, because that's not what I'm doing here. I'm supposed to relax and recover, whether that's from a deload point of view, whether it's to wash away any stress, localized or systemic, whether that's to rest because I'm injured and I can't train a specific movement. The whole process is rest. So what do I find restful? What do I find relaxing? What do I find that is going to fit that part best suited? It's not going to be sitting and twiddling my thumbs thinking about the gym, pacing backwards and forwards, because that's not very relaxing. If anything, it's probably going to stress me out even more. So what do? What I've done this week in my deload is I've structured my day slightly different. I've literally crammed all my work right at the start of the morning, because I don't have to train anymore. I don't have that 2 hour block of the day that I have to separate work. I can literally push everything to the front of my day. And then what I will do is spend the rest of the afternoon maybe just sitting down, laying on the sofa, playing my tank, or sitting and listening to podcasts. I've sat here for the past 4 days and just sat with a pair of headphones on, leaning back in my chair with my eyes closed, listening to podcasts. That has been relatively relaxing, but also something that's very productive in regards to what I'm doing. So I'm not just wasting time. Like, don't get me wrong, if you want to sit and waste time and just nap on the sofa, do that, because that's just as good, if not better, because you're relaxing, you're switching off. But the thing that you want to avoid is the thing that's going to create the most stress, which is the sitting and feeling sorry for yourself, pacing backwards and forwards, going to the gym pointlessly to do steps or do cardio or even pose. Like, don't get me wrong, I still want to practice your posing, but if you're injured, you should be resting. So instead of filling those gaps with things that are pretty much exactly the same as training, because you need that mental break away from it as well, fill it with things that are going to be more productive. Fill it with things that are actually focused on what it is that you're trying to do, which is rest and recover and rebuild from an injury. You know, yes, you can put in things like stretches. Yes, you can put in things like rehabilitation work, because it's still an element of relaxation and productivity of where you need to be. But going in and training and thinking, oh, well, this is okay, I'll do this. You're not training, you're relaxing. You're supposed to relax. Don't cross threads. It makes no sense to. Same as if, like, let's put this in the terms of a PD user. So they've come off, or they've gone into a low dose, or they're periodizing down into a maintenance phase. Are you going to sit there that whole time and feel sorry for yourself, thinking, oh, I've lost all my gains because they've taken all my drugs away? Or are you going to utilize that time to just go, okay, cool, this is time away to figure out where my next direction is? You know, am I going to run bloods? Is this next phase going to be a diet? Is it going to be a massive block? Like, instead of living in that moment or not mastering where you are at and focusing on the past or the negatives of it, flip your mindset around. You're going to feel much more productive, and you're going to be much more productive, especially when it comes around to that next phase, because this is what training is. Training is phases. Training is courses. Like, it constantly evolves, it constantly changes, it constantly adapts. You can't just always be massing. You can't always be dieting. You can't always be training. There has to be periods of different phases, whether that's you mass for a certain amount of months, then you diet for a certain amount of months, then you take a break and don't train at all, or then you're in a maintenance phase where you're completely reducing all volume of everything. There's so many different moving components, so you can't just be a one set mind of, I'm all or nothing. You have to adapt per period or per periodization. So instead of just mastering that one, which is the foot to the floor, I'm going to smash every single weight that I possibly can and get strong and as big as possible, you've also then got to master the, okay, well, after that, I'm going to chill and I'm going to unwind, I'm going to switch off, because that's where recovery happens, that's where growth takes place. You seem to forget that growth doesn't happen in the gym. Growth doesn't happen by lifting weights. That's just a variable, it's an ingredient, it's a mediator of hypertrophy. It's not the factor that builds it. There's so many other aspects into it. So guys, hopefully that helps. Any questions, anything you need off the back of that, as always, please feel free to ask any questions. But that is enough for me. Much love, stay blessed, and I will see you all soon.